My name is Jody, and recently I was lucky enough to meet a man called Mark O'Reilly. Some of you might know Mark. What you'll see today was inspired by Mark, but it's not about Mark. Mark wanted to play with characters. If you know Mark, maybe you'll find traces of him in the story, and if you don't know Mark, I would recommend getting to know him. Before I start the performance, there are a few important things I'd like to say. This is a relaxed performance. If you need to leave at any time during the performance, that's okay. And if you want to come back in, that's okay too. If you need to move around or make noise during the performance, that's fine with me. Are there any experienced theatregoers here? If the person beside you or behind you makes a sound during the performance, please don't feel like you need to shush them or give them a look of admonishment. Everything is okay. I'll be performing in the show, but it's not my story I'll be telling. This story is about a person called Lizzie, and the story is called Yellow. It will last about 15 minutes and it's 12 pages long. There will be no loud bangs or flashes during the performance, but there will be the sound of an alarm bell, and it sounds like this. And there'll be the sound of a paper shredder, this paper shredder, and the paper shredder sounds like this. Is that okay? Yeah? Then I'll start. I came along, I wrote a song for you, and all the things you do. It was called Yellow. They say it's the quiet ones you need to watch. Lizzie is one of the quiet ones. She doesn't talk much, but that doesn't mean she's not listening. Lizzie can hear everything. And because she doesn't waste all her time on talking, Lizzie remembers it all. When you're a listener, people forget you're there. They say things without thinking to fill up the silence. Lizzie's like a sponge. She soaks it all up. Sometimes Lizzie is so quiet, people forget she's there. They talk about her like she isn't there. Lizzie doesn't like that. It's the quiet ones you need to watch. Lizzie likes double letters. She likes her name because it has two Z's. She very much likes coffee, double F, double E, but avoids tea, except for one time on holiday in Stuttgart, where she discovered they spell it T-double-E. In Stuttgart hat Lizzie Tee mit Pfannkuchen sehr genossen, but she would never dream of ordering tea and pancakes at home. She prefers buttons to zips, dresses to skirts, boots to shoes, and only wears blouses with collars. Lizzie would sooner a sweet than a chocolate. She eats beef, but never pork. For lunch, she pre-orders and collects an egg roll from the canteen. Every day. Well, every day until one day. The day that everything changes. But we'll get to that later. Lizzie can't remember when the double letters started. Double numbers too. Her mother used to say she was too rigid, but that's the way Lizzie likes it. And it doesn't do anybody any harm. Lizzie likes things that come in pairs, and that's that. Lizzie doesn't know that there's a reason. There's always a reason if you know the right questions to ask. For as long as she was in her mother's tummy, Lizzie was one of a pair. She doesn't remember much about the time she spent in there listening. She remembers pink and a feeling of wholeness. Lizzie was one of two. She had a twin who didn't manage to make the full journey to life. It was never spoken of, swept under the carpet. And so, Lizzie, alone, learned to love things that come in twos. Rugged, happened, nugget, pudding, 66, 55, 99s, 11. There's always a reason if you know the right questions to ask. But Lizzie rarely asks questions. Lizzie likes shredders. She works in the shredding department of a very successful newspaper company. She works alone in the basement of a building with many floors, but keeps updated on the goings-on of the world via discarded scraps of newspaper articles and the telly bracketed to the wall. Lizzie likes CNN and occasionally BBC, but never RTE and definitely not Fox. Until the day that everything changes. Lizzie's day goes something like this. 6:33, Lizzie's alarm bell rings. Lizzie presses snooze. 6:44, Lizzie's alarm bell rings again. And Lizzie gets up. 6:55, Lizzie drinks a coffee. 7:22, Lizzie is dressed and ready to go. 7:33, Lizzie gets on the number 44 bus. She greets the driver. Hi, Shay. Lizzie. Some of you might know Shay. He's a good driver. 7:55, Lizzie gets off the bus and walks the rest of the way to the office, a journey of 1 to 2 kilometres, depending on how the traffic was. 8:11, Lizzie enters the office building. She greets the receptionist. Hi, Yvonne. Hey, Lizzie. She makes her way up the stairwell to the canteen where she pre-orders her lunch from Rita. Hi, Rita. Morning, Lizzie. Egg roll? Yes, please. Grand so. See you at 1:11. A triple number, even better. See you then. 8:22, Lizzie begins shredding. Now, some people don't like the sound the shredder makes, but it doesn't bother Lizzie. She keeps the shredder on a tabletop. It's handier. Sometimes she listens to music on her headphones as she works. She uses her headphones because she knows the walls are thin and she doesn't want to bother anybody. Lizzie likes songs with colours. Yellow, blue, little green, black star, purple rain, lady in red. She has a playlist. 10:33, Lizzie empties the shredder. She thrusts her hands into the scrambled news and decimated drafts and neatly deposits them in the recycling. 1:11, Lizzie goes to the canteen to collect her roll. She greets her colleagues in the canteen. Alicia, Elaine, Anne, Adam, Pauline, Maria, Aileen, Mobad, Christian, James, Mary, Sally, Rachel, Gavin, Lisa, Freddie. They greet her in return. Everyone likes Lizzie, and Lizzie likes everyone. 1:22. Lizzie, alone in the basement, watches the headlines as she eats. Donald Trump claims to have rebuilt America. The climate is still changing. A man named Mark O'Reilly has hit the headlines. Different days, different headlines, but Lizzie keeps track of them all. At 1:33, Lizzie resumes shredding. At 3:33, Lizzie empties the shredder. She thrusts her hands into the scrambled news and decimated drafts and neatly deposits them in the recycling. 4:44, Lizzie is finished for the day. 4:55, Lizzie takes the number 44 bus. This time it's Stephen. Hi, Stephen. How are you, Lizzie? Some of you might know Stephen. 5:33, Lizzie, alone, is home in her attic apartment. 5:55, Lizzie eats a dinner of pizza or noodles, after which Lizzie just chills. 7:44, Lizzie takes a shower. 8:22, Lizzie goes to bed. At 8:22, isn't that very early? Not for Lizzie. Lizzie needs her sleep. You see, there's something I haven't told you about Lizzie. Lizzie has a secret. I told you already that Lizzie is a listener, but it's not just words Lizzie listens to. Lizzie can hear people's feelings. She collects up emotions as she goes about her day. Can you imagine what that's like? Lizzie, collector of feelings, goes about her day. Shay, Yvonne, Rita, Alicia, Elaine, Anne, Adam, Pauline, Maria, Aileen, Mobad, Christian, James, Mary, Sally, Rachel, Gavin, Lisa, and Freddie. You've heard the expression, I feel your pain. Well, that's Lizzie. She feels their pain, their anger, their fear, their joy, their sadness. She alone carries it around in her heart. And so by 8:22, Lizzie is ready for bed. Lizzie wishes that she could find a way of helping those who need it, but so far no idea has presented itself. And so Lizzie hides in a sleep that's long and deep, losing herself in her dreams. And that's how it goes. From 6:33 to 8:22, day after day after day, after month after month, after year, until, okay, it's time. The day that everything changes. On the day that everything changes, Lizzie presses snooze an extra time by mistake. So at 6:55, when Lizzie should be drinking a coffee, Lizzie's only just getting out of bed. It's okay, I'll catch up. At 7:22, Lizzie accidentally sips her sock while pouring coffee on her foot. At 7:33, Lizzie is last to board the bus and greet Shay. Late today, Lizzie. I know. Things are about to get very bad. At 7:55, when Lizzie should be alighting for the pedestrian part of her journey, Lizzie is stuck on the bus because a crash on her road means Shay has had to take a long way around. Lizzie is forced to remain on the bus because she has no idea where she is and is not au fait with Google Maps. It is 8:45 when Lizzie greets Yvonne. Lizzie? I know. 8:47 when she orders her egg roll. Lizzie? I know. 8:59 when the first piece of paper enters the shredder, and 11:02 when Lizzie empties the shredder. She thrusts her hands into the scrambled news and decimated drafts and neatly deposits them in the recycling. Things have gone from bad to worse, and by the time Lizzie goes to the canteen to retrieve her roll, Lizzie barely has time to greet Alicia, Elaine, Anne, Adam, Paulie, Maria, Aileen, Sally, Rachel, Gavin, Lisa, Freddie, Christian, Mobad. On this, the day that everything changes, Lizzie is so addled, trying to catch up with her runaway routine, that Lizzie doesn't notice, at 1:33, alone in the basement, that the lunch she unwraps is no roll, but a sandwich. And not even an egg sandwich, a salad sandwich. Rachel's salad sandwich. Lizzie pays no heed as she brings this alien object to her lips and takes the first bite. She is halfway through chewing when her taste buds send an urgent message to her brain to sound the emergency alarm. Lizzie has taken the wrong lunch. As Lizzie begins to comprehend her terrible mistake, 3 things happen. 1. Lizzie waits for the walls to come crashing down around her. 2. They don't. 3. Fireworks go off in Lizzie's mind as she comes to a startling realization. Lizzie likes salad sandwiches. And so, instead of running to Rita and Rachel to explain the awful mix-up, Lizzie takes another bite. And another. And another. Lizzie lets out a little laugh as Lizzie takes yet another bite, finishing off the first half of the sandwich. She thinks about Rachel and the consternation Lizzie has caused her. She scans through her mind's eye to the allergy list in the canteen, briefly concerned that Rachel is intolerant of eggs, but not finding Rachel's name on the list, Lizzie relaxes and polishes off the remains of the wrong lunch. It is 2:00 on the dot when Lizzie resumes shredding. On the outside, Lizzie looks the same, but inside everything has changed. Lizzie is living a life of quiet rebellion. She presses play on her playlist but doesn't wear her headphones. Tentative at first, and then edging the volume up further and further, Lizzie's letting loose. It is already 4:30 when Lizzie empties the shredder. She thrusts her hands into the scrambled news and decimated drafts and does what she's been wanting to do day after day after day after month after year after year. At 4:44,
Lizzie, alone, looks around at the mess she has created. Oops. And as Lizzie sweeps up, as all the bad news and good news, the fake news and the factual news, yesterday's and today's news mingle in the bristles of Lizzie's sweeping brush, Lizzie has a light bulb moment. She gets her big idea. Lizzie takes the shreds and makes messages, letters that speak straight to the worries and the dreams and the hopes and the fears in the hearts of the people in her life. She takes the leftover remains of soon-to-be-forgotten news and turns them into a magic elixir. Lizzie is so busy that she misses the bus home. Stephen waits for 5 minutes at her stop. Lizzie? The other passengers shrug. Lizzie is lost in a flurry of pasting and patterning. She moonlights as messenger night after night, pastiches as postperson, delivering at dawn. We're coming towards the end of the story now, and I'd like to ask you all to do something for me. At the end of the story, please don't clap. Lizzie, for all her love of double letters, is stressed by clapping and she is terrified of applause. I'll be around afterwards and we can have a cup of tea and a chat if you'd like. So is that okay? No clapping? Great. Mark, who isn't here now, told me that he prefers happy endings to sad endings. So here we go. Lizzie's idea works. Letter by letter, Lizzie lightens the loads of the people she loves, and as their burdens lighten, Lizzie's do too. Lizzie the shredder becomes Lizzie the purveyor of good moods. Lizzie's bedtime creeps from 8:22 to 8:44, from 8:44 to 9:22, until Lizzie stops watching the clock and just goes to bed when she pleases. One morning, Lizzie orders her salad sandwich from Rita and makes her way to the basement. There, waiting for her in the shredding department, Lizzie sees a letter. A letter for Lizzie, cheekily constructed from her previous day's shreds. A letter for Lizzie? Lizzie, I'm besotted. Marry me. XX. Freddie. Lizzie, besotted. Marry. 2 kisses. Freddie? Lizzie looks and looks. Lizzie can see nothing wrong with besotted. Marry. 2 kisses. Freddie. So Lizzie makes another letter. Indeed. Yes, indeed, I will marry you, Freddie. Lizzie. Some weeks later, Freddie moves into Lizzie's attic and they live together in bliss. Lately, Lizzie's noticed something funny. Lizzie isn't hearing other people's feelings anymore. Lizzie's hearing something else instead. 2 little heartbeats racing inside her. Twin pulses beating together. Lizzie takes a deep breath. Not Lizzie alone anymore. Look at the stars. Look how they shine for you. And all the things you do. That's the end of the performance. Thank you all very much. Thanks.